Today is a very sad and somber day for baseball. We as fans have lost an incredibly talented human in Bob Uecker. 90 years young, a baseball announcer like none other. Won a World Series in the 60s with the Cardinals. One GD World Series. I can't say goddamn on YouTube. It doesn't matter. Nobody's listening anyway. Shout out to Bob Uecker in Major League. That gentleman did quite a bit for baseball and just getting recognized as being more than a gentleman's game. He made this game fun for the movies. The most important thing that he ever did was a Miller Lite commercial. And as of right now, today, at his statue monument at Miller Park, is an unopened can of Miller Lite sitting at the foot of the statue. Bob Uecker, we cheers you. Have one for us. Enjoy. MLB Network Shredder has been working, I guess, overtime this offseason to show us how the money have fallen and throw credibility completely out the window. It's been 2 weeks since we last had a chat. None of the names we mentioned are signed by any team, as of yet. Anybody heard from Pete Alonso yet? No? He just turned down a 3-year, $70 million deal from the Mets. One of our OG favorite players on the pod has inked another minor league deal with the Daddies in San Diego. Mr. Martin Maldonado. In 2024, getting paid $4.25 million to hit the weight of a 13-year-old. He hit a $119 and being released by the White Sox in July. Pretty bad. No one else called the 30-year-old vet or 38-year-old vet last year. Here's a cheers to you, MM. The Roki Sasaki sweepstakes is still going. So yeah, for a guy who said the spotlight isn't where he wants to be, you're doing a bang-up job staying in it. So speaking of staying in, it's time to stay in this weekend. Listen to Drunks in the Pond. Like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. And most importantly, stay drunk.
Drunks on the Pond, episode 38. You know the boys, Rich, Damon, myself, Jay, obviously. And Rich, you said some mighty fine words about the loss of Bob Uecker, and I'll say one of my favorite stories, I'll make it quick, was when Bob Uecker was a catcher, and he was catching Bob Gibson, legendary Hall of Fame pitcher. Bob Uecker went out to the mound to go talk to Bob Gibson. And anyone that knows Bob Gibson knows that when he was on the mound, he had one thing in mind: to either hit you or to get you out. Bob Gibson turned around and just looked pissed. And he stared at Bob Uecker. He said, "What the hell are you doing out here right now?" Bob Uecker didn't even waste a second, said, "Just going out to talk to Curt Flood in center field." Man, he was such a legend. I mean, anyone that's seen the Major League movies, you know, when you see like the wrestling promo with Andre the Giant, when Andre the Giant strangles him. Just so many moments in a legendary career.
The dude's a natural comedian.
He was hysterical. He's just pure gold, man. He really was Mr. Baseball.
Damon, did you ever have a chance to meet him?
Sadly, no. I know my dad did a few times, and I mean,
sure.
Everybody that I've ever met that has had something to say about him has always been something gracious. So, I mean, you know, like my dad said, you know, it was sad that we lost an ambassador of the game, but it was always beautiful to see what he did for the game. The dude is in the WWE Hall of Fame. I mean, name another baseball player that's done something like that. You know, so, I mean,
Macho Man.
I don't count it. He was never a big leaguer.
Good point. He was a Cardinals minor leaguer.
Cool.
Still,
Like, cool. You know, he ain't getting no big league service time. That boy Euchre was out there running past Bob Gibson. Hey, man, I'm going to be in center field real quick. You just tell the Blue ain't nothing going crazy over here, all right? Come on now.
Like,
So that's what I tell you. We definitely lost an ambassador for the game, but I definitely rejoice what he did bring to baseball. I don't want people to forget the great memories and everything that he did bring, because not to be that guy, the Debbie Downer, I don't think we have anybody that's leading a great legacy as of right now in this generation. And, you know, it's kind of hard to see guys falling off like that, where it's like, wow, you know, that was, you know, one of the top pillars of baseball right there in itself. Like you said, that is Mr. Baseball. So, I mean,
that's
I
a
don't
fair
know.
point. I actually like that. That, you know, when we look at the current generation of ball players,
I mean,
you know,
I would say the next greatest broadcast announcer out there is Tom Brenneman.
Yeah.
I like Tom. Tom's a good one.
No, Tom sucks, dude. He's the one who said the slur. And then Nick Castellanos and it threw it to deep left field.
Listen,
Listen. No. Jay, you could go
Go ahead.
first because, okay, listen, I just want you to understand something. Do you know how many great conversations that's led to? Do you know how many icebreakers I've had in my life because of Tom Brenneman? I don't think you understand. So before you sit here and try and discredit him for his slip up, his one-time slip up, you've probably had a slip up before in life, okay? So don't hold it against the man because he said it on TV, because he made history right after that. Right after that. Right in the midst of his apology, he created something that whenever Nick Castellanos homers and something bad happens, I have like a select group of friends, about 8 to 12 of them, that I send it to, and they all know what I'm referencing. And the only other experience I have like that with baseball is oh, hold on, this is perfect. I got something right here that's gonna go good prop. You know why I pulled you over tonight? Hey sir, so do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Hey bossman, I Osuna from the Braves. I is Osuna
Oh
from the
my
Braves.
God.
Hey,
Jesus
hey,
Christ.
those two moments right there, I'm talking, I have friends that don't even watch baseball. Love baseball just off that right there. So don't you dare for one moment swear on a man and look down upon him
Hey.
and his hey. I am defending Tom right now. Okay.
You're
not
more than welcome to.
and I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I mean, it happens. It happens. We all say things that are no longer politically correct. And people are like, well, you know, my thing is he grew up in a different time and people want us to change overnight, you know? I wish the gas changed overnight, you know? Stuff doesn't change like the stock market. That's easily manipulated. So let's not sit here and fault people for the way that they speak.
Just to follow up on what Damon said, like, Tom Brenneman's mess up has led to some of the greatest baseball tweets of all time. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think it's like MLB home run tracker. When Nick Castellanos homers and that notification goes off, every single tweet is everyone okay? Who's died? What's going on? Like, the Queen died and Nick Castellanos went off for a couple home runs. Like,
do you guys watch any MLB The Show YouTubers?
No, I got better things.
Not really
today.
anymore.
There's a guy out there out in Cali. He's a great personality. Your friend Kyle. And every time he plays the show and with Diamond Dynasty and he uses Nick Castellanos' card, he will always say something horrible happened prior to the at-bat in order to potentially get a home run for Castellanos. Like his refrigerator went on fire. Or
you know, I have to credit him.
900 car pileup.
That's hey, you have to. I have to ask my buddy whenever I'm playing as him. I'll literally look at him. Hey man, something bad happened today. He'll start laughing because again, Nick Castellanos is coming up to hit. I'm telling you, it's good. It's such bad juju that it's good. It's good for you.
That's fair. So, to kind of change the topic, and obviously,
Yeah, about them Lakers.
we're still, yeah, totally. Like, since we're still doing the off-season chronicles, and obviously we got to talk about what's going on, which, as we all said prior to recording, not a single. Hold on. Damon, I got you in a minute. I just want to say this because it's been sitting on my head for the past 3 hours. The Roki Sasaki, like, this whole situation reminds me of an episode of The Bachelorette. Like Roki Sasaki is just sitting there, just giving out flowers to just certain teams, and he's like, sorry, like, I don't think it's gonna work. There go the Braves, there go the Phillies, there goes the Giants,
Everyone.
all these other teams. And now we're sitting here with the Dodgers, the Padres, okay, and Toronto still in it. What? We're talking the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays get Hoffman, and Roki Sasaki's like, I love that, dude. Like, oh yeah, maybe. You know what? Like, I'll say this: if he goes to the Dodgers, you're going to hear a lot of people go, "Well, we all knew that was coming." If he goes to the Padres, it's like, okay, like, he doesn't want to be in Ohtani's shadow. He doesn't want to be in Yamamoto's shadow. He wants to make his own path. Good for him.
Yu Darvishes.
And we might get a solid rivalry out of the Padres and Dodgers.
I love
said
the Padres and
Padres.
Dodgers.
Yeah,
I
it's my
love
fault.
that. I love
And
that.
then if he goes to Toronto, it's just kind of like,
Why?
I guess Toronto's at least trying to do something. But
One thing you're failing to realize is how diverse and how much of a melting pot Toronto actually is. It's literally a League of Nations in that city.
no, I'm not
city.
saying like it's a bad thing. I'm saying it
Did you
more
say
of
beautiful
like
city, Damon?
It's a beautiful city.
Would love to go.
it's
Beautiful
it's
temple.
more the
Love to
fact that like that Vladdy doesn't know what his future stands as of right now. Bo Bichette is supposedly on the trading block, as from what I've heard. They just signed
Bo's on his
Hoffman
way
after he found 2 physicals.
with two
Like,
different
we're kind of seeing Toronto just like they're like, hey, like, we'd love you to come here, and they're like, no, your situation actually sucks. And then they're going to different teams, and then Hoffman was like, listen, dude, I'll come there, but I'm failing physicals. Toronto was like, dude, just put your name on the paper and just sign the damn thing. So, like,
Do you want a cortisone shot? It's
like,
free here.
like, I'm not trying to rip on Toronto, but it's like, you
I mean,
need to
what are they
focus
doing?
on trying to fix what you have already instead of going out. Like, try and fix the toys you already have before you go and spend like however much money it takes to get Sasaki.
But I want a new toy, Daddy, and I want it now.
But Damon, I know I cut you off earlier, so
No,
you
no
got the
worries.
floor.
I got a text from a dude. He said it was on Sunday, so I don't know how legitimate this text was, because it said Roki in Toronto last 3 days, FYI. I was like, whoa, are they taking their shot? And the exact words were, he owed a favor to Rogers Peeps. No idea who that is. So
The Rogers Center?
I don't know, dude. No idea.
That's
No
Toronto
idea.
Stadium, correct? It's Rogers
Yeah,
Center.
that's what I thought it was, but I'm
Yeah.
like, who? I don't.
Is that the owner?
I don't know. I wish I knew what that text meant more in depth. I didn't go into it. But when I texted the guy and asked him that has people, inside the camp and around the camp, he said that he pretty sure he's going to land in LA. He said that San Diego isn't off the table. But the one joke,
Rogers Communications. Since 2000.
that makes sense. Who do they deal with? Because what team is he coming from in Japan? Because you remember with the Hideo Nomo thing, you need to look into this. Don't quote me on this, but Hideo Nomo had a handler out here in the US, and it was for, I think, Mitsubishi or something like that. And the team that he played for was like Samsung or a different, I don't know. And basically the handler out here created business conflicts with the people in Japan to where they stopped doing business with each other for like 30 plus years because of what happened. So yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't know if it's something like that where the team that he played for, owes a favor to Rogers Communications, whatever it may be, and he's just going out there to check it out, do whatever. I don't know, dude. I'm just going off of texts that I get from guys that have 20 plus years in the game. So
Little known fact that I just learned right now, that Rogers Communications is the third owner of the Blue Jays, and that's it. That's small for a long franchise. 1976 is when they started. Labatt Brewing owned them from 76 to 95, and then Interbrew SA from 95 to 2000. And Rogers Communications purchased 80% stake in the team in 2000, and later acquired the remaining 20%. So it used to be the Toronto Sky Dome, and they changed it in 2004 and renamed it the Rogers Center. So I have a feeling there has to be something along the lines you're saying is there is some sort of connection.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. But the joke that I wanted to make was how many of those guys signed today in the international free agent signing are we going to hear about in 3 years being, 3 to 5 years older than what they said they were when they signed? Really 21 when they said they're 16.
I am 12.
This guy's 50. He's got a mustache. Not according to birth certificate.
He's got documentation.
Play ball! Green crayon. I'm like $10.
I mean, what do we have? We have Fausto Carmona, who ended up becoming Roberto Hernandez.
Roberto Hernandez.
Julio Franco was 2 years older than what he said he was.
So he was 50 when he was actually 48 retired.
Good for who else is there?
People speculated Pujols.
Well, I told you, remember Leo Nunez, the closer for the Marlins back in like the late 2000s, like 08, 09 maybe, might have been 07. Yeah,
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, Leo Nunez. Let me look that up right now. He has a different name.
I've just been a couple of those.
I feel like we're missing a really big one.
Leo Nunez's name is Juan Carlos Oviedo.
Wasn't it El Duque? Wasn't it Orlando Hernandez? No, because he pitched for a long time.
I'm trying to think of who the hell we're missing.
I think you're right. I think there was a big name.
Miguel Tejada.
I don't think we can really consider Giancarlo Stanton, considering he was Mike Stanton for the first couple years.
He's from California.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
sure.
Like just overall people that like went and changed their names. Like we had oh my god, who the hell was it? Oh, this is gonna kill me.
Well, I better not because you're too precious.
Didn't BJ Upton change his name?
Yeah, but his name was Melvin. Always was Melvin.
Melvin Upton. That's right.
Yeah, and Justin's younger brother, and BJ was just his nickname or initials.
Maybe nickname.
Yeah.
Speaking of nicknames, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Dame. I watched the Yogi Berra documentary. Dude, that is a great document. If you have like an hour and a half of time to kill, watch the Yogi Berra documentary. It is fantastic. Because obviously his real name was not Yogi Berra. It was Lawrence. But the way he got the nickname Yogi was... I mean, it's something simple, but the fact that, like, you ask anybody, like, Lawrence Berra? It's like, no, I know Yogi Berra. It's like, you'd be hard-pressed to know that they're actually the same exact person.
What?
I know. Just...
There's definitely a big name that we're missing.
It's just not coming to me. But on the
God,
I was gonna say on the topic of big names, Scott Boras once again making a complete ass out of himself, and I don't want to say screwing over his clients because I mean we're still in January, but what's the deal with Alex Bregman?
Yeah.
What's going on with like Pete Alonso's getting offered contracts and he's not taking them, and now the Mets are like, all right, dude, whatever, we're done with this. Like, just go somewhere else.
How do we know that this isn't the player? Like we're always so quick to go straight to the agent, and people are like, oh yeah, the agents are in negotiations, they do all this. Yeah, but I mean, like, dude, like I
players have say too.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. I
And
saw
like that's where I'm
memorabilia.
at. If Boris took the Mets offer and was like, "Here, this is what we have right now from the Mets." Like it was 3 years, 72 million, comes out to around what 20, maybe 23.5 million a year. Not bad.
Give or take.
And then I would assume Pete Alonso is the one that's like, no, we can definitely get more. It's like, brother, like I don't know what kind of money you're looking for at this point, but I don't think you're going to get you're going to get a prove it deal at this point. Like someone's going to be like, here, we'll give you 1 year, show us what you can do, and maybe we'll talk again at the end of the
And
year.
listen, you know how I feel about the Mets. That's what the shame is. Pete Alonso doesn't need to prove it. You know what you're getting from him. You're getting 35 plus homers a year, 80 to 100 plus RBIs, without a doubt. 240 to 260 batting average.
For how
But
long?
most importantly, you're getting a run producer.
How long?
I don't care about the years. I don't think he deserves anything more than
I think you should get 3. I mean,
30
I
years
I think
old.
3's.
He's 30 years old. Just give him the 3. I mean, look, I don't
It's
know.
not even about give him. It's he should take.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where I'm so confused is I don't know what the fuck is up with all these guys wanting to play when they're 38 and 42. I
Don't you try to make as much money as possible when you're young to retire young?
yeah, but that's kind of where I'm like, I'm just so confused with like the contracts and shit of today because it's just like, what the fuck do you want, dude? Like, you're gonna be 33 years old. We're trying to save ourselves here because if we pay you 5 years and we get 2 years of bullshit, what if it's 2.5 years of bullshit? So half the contract's good, half the contract's shit. And my apologies for swearing, but like that's honestly what we're looking at. It's not like, I mean, I can name a couple contracts where I go look at them and I'm like, so we're saying at 35, this guy's going to go out 162 games a year. Let's call it 130, and is going to be productive of that 30 to $35 million value that you're saying he. No,
I
So
don't believe so.
I think that's where these teams are also reeling back in some of the money that they're dishing out for. I mean, bro, let's call it what it is. Guys in the MLB that are 30 years old are on the older side when you're wanting these 5 to 10 year contracts. I could give a 10-year contract to a dude that's 28, you know? I mean, shit, I'd feel comfortable if I did 27. Anything more than, I mean, 28's even pushing it because you're 38. I mean, you have to be very productive up until that age 28 season. And how many years did you play in the bigs before that? Are we talking a guy that debuted at 19, where he's proven that by that 28 season, his 10th season in the bigs, at let's go splurge on him? Or is it going to be a guy debuting at 25 where we get 4 or 5 seasons, maybe 6 seasons of productivity, and then he's like, yeah, man, I'm 30 years old now and I want, you know, 300 million. 30 years old, 300 million is kind of crazy.
I
Yeah.
fully agree. And I mean, unfortunately, the Phillies have 2 of those contracts where they're going to be taking players all the way into their 40s, well, early 40s, 41 max, 42, whatever. But you shouldn't even come close to that as a franchise with that mentality. We want to lock you up forever. But will they play for their whole contract? But also, if you have 2 people in the same duration of contract, are they both playing the field at that age? Is one a DH? Where's the other one playing? Like,
Yeah, but I mean, most teams that have those have multiple instances of the same exact thing where it's like, what are we doing here? Or what are we planning to do here? So that's where I'm like, I don't think teams are willing to just go shell out, you know. I don't even think $90 million over 3 years teams are going to want to shell out to a dude that's 30 years old unless he's putting up consistent 40 home run, 50 home run seasons. And I know Pete Alonso's done that, but I don't know. I think that you want so much of a hard bargain that it's just like, bro, I don't want to play ball with you.
I mean, at this point, do you think it has something to do with personality?
Nah. I think it's all coming down to the dollar at this point. Like, I'll give this example. It's not a good one, but this is the first thing I can think of. Alex Bregman has been linked to the Tigers for the past 3 weeks now, to the point where when we first started hearing it heat up, it was like, okay, Bregman's going to be a Tiger. It's just getting down to the dollar. But I think of the Tigers when they first got Miguel Cabrera on his first 8-year deal, which was from like 07 to 15, I think. And
I think you're right.
That contract paid perfectly for them. Like, the Tigers got everything they needed from it. But
that's
then
where every penny was worth it. Yeah, you're right.
But then they went and messed up, because then they gave him another 8-year deal. And this was when he was in his early 30s, maybe 32, 33. And it was the worst contract that they have ever had. Like, I think he had like a 0.3, 0.4 WAR. Like, just horrible. Like, he was just never the same player
He came up at
as
19
the first
as well,
8-year
right?
contract.
Let me
Maybe.
see. So now
But,
he came
like,
out very young.
Yeah,
like, I think the Tigers are at the point now where it's like, listen, dude, we want you to come here. Like, but this is what we're paying, because we're not going to be shark bitten by another bad contract if you don't live up to this. Like, this is where we stand. This is what we're and they have a contract on Javi Baez right now that's not even paying off for them. So it's like, why do you want to shell out 2 bad contracts when you already got one on the books that you can't get rid of unless you just go, you know what, dude? Like, we were a better team without you. So we're just going to just send you on your way. Go retire. Like, you're not going to find a spot on a team. Just go. Like, you're done.
Your own way.
Like, that's where. So it's like, yeah, if I understand them being hesitant to sign Bregman to what he wants, but at some point, it's like,
I don't think Bregman's worth that 150 plus million.
I don't think he is either. I think Bregman wanting more than 5 years. Like, Bregman wanting more than 5 years is a huge problem, because he's 30 now, which some people would say, like, he's on like the backside of his career. We have seen people in their 30s like go past their peak.
It's not some people. The 3 of us just said that's the back end of the career.
But like, Barry Bonds won what, 4 MVPs past
Raul Ibanez. Same thing.
Yeah, Ibanez, Ricky Henderson.
And I get that. But I mean, even Randy Johnson. But again, we could group in. I'm pretty sure with guys that we could think of off the top of our head, we could group those guys in, and they can go head for head with guys that are playing now. They all didn't play at the same time. Those are all different eras of people. And that's kind of where I'm like, I truly don't understand the I don't understand the logic. I mean, I get it, bro. Get your money, get paid, do it. You know what I mean? If I could get paid, I'm getting paid. I'm not going, whatever anybody else says, I don't care. I'm paid. But does it make sense to the average person? I don't think it makes sense to the people that sign the checks anymore. So, you know, when you find yourself in that kind of situation, I think that's where it puts us. But
I mean, there's been plenty of contracts that have been poor for franchises. There's been plenty of contracts that have panned out. I don't foresee a 5+ year deal for Bregman panning out whatsoever. I don't see a 5+ year deal for Alonso panning out. It's not because I think Alonso's productivity is going to dip. He plays in a lot less physical demanding position than Bregman. He is a lot less athletic, to say the least. Bregman's a pretty athletic guy. The biggest issue is, I think money is going to get in the way in the future for Alonso, where he's one of those guys that might want an extension whilst under contract. If you're at this point and you won't take a 3-year, $70+ million deal for the team that's traded you pretty fairly, you've had all of your entire success with that franchise. You obviously just signed the highest paid player in sports history. You're in a very uptick trending direction, and you don't want to play there for that money? That's all about the contract? It's got to be a little bit more than that. Do you think he just wants to go somewhere to be the face?
No.
I wish I had something to say to that, but it's just like my question before
it's
you
not that he rubs me the wrong way.
real quick, before you say anything, my question to you is this. And this is just something that I think we all need to resonate with. Every viewer that watches this, sit down and ask yourself this. When we look at these contracts and we look at these guys bickering, I was always told we can't all be Superman. So, I mean, when are we going to settle down and get in where we fit in? And if you don't say that you're like, you know what, I don't like that 70 million, how can we change it? Why aren't we looking at something revenue share? Okay, my jersey sells this much for you. Let me get a better percentage on it so, I can make more money on the back end, We're in, say it's a dude wanting to sign with LA and they're like, look, you're not a top end guy that we're looking at. Well, if you could give me some endorsement deals, some low end stuff out here, I'd take less money to come out there and play. All right, bet. So that's where I need, or I'm not even saying need it. That's where I'm kind of questioning of why don't we do that? I mean, Miami Marlins could have a bunch of dudes out there in Miami doing just simple stuff, and it's off season,
By the way, they've spent $0.
I know, that's why I said them.
Only franchise that spent $0.
Hey, we're rebuilding, dude, restructuring, and we're thinking about this. Okay, we're thinking about this. We're thinking about it. I don't know how much I got to tell you. We're thinking about it.
In order to build, you need to spend money. How else do you get materials?
We're thinking about it. Why is he trying to push us past the thinking part? We're gonna
all of your materials donated.
We're gonna do. There's another team in Florida that needs some help. We're gonna do.
Yeah, but you're not helping them, but the Yankees.
Oh my gosh. You see, you're frustrating me. You're making it hard for me right now. I'm going to have to go back to my team and tell them you're making me look like a goofball when I come out to speak. Mr. Marlin's not even. Hey, Mr. Marlin, you going to yell at me some more? Are you going to yell at me some more? Are you going to do what you told Derek Jeter? You have tickets elsewhere. You have better tickets. You have offers with other teams to go represent them. My bad, jabroni. My bad. I'm thinking. I'm making a structured and detailed plan of what I want to do.
So you have a plan for a plan?
I have a plan. I'm thinking about what I want to do to execute the plan. I don't like what you're doing to me right now. You're trying to fluster me. You're trying to green light me right now. And listen, we are working as a team to progress forward. We traded Jazz Chisholm away. We thought that was a marvelous trade. What we got was awesome. Awesome. We traded Luis Arias away. What we got, awesome. Okay, so I think that you're speaking out of turn. You don't know what we
There's
have.
a lot of we in this talking. Am I catching this? Like
my team.
A lot of we in here.
Yeah. It's not just me. I'm not calling the shots. I'm not taking the blame for it. Okay, why would I take the blame? This may be
I totally missed the day where Damon bought the Marlins.
Yeah, come on now.
Like Damon's like, no, it's a team effort. Damon's like, I am the team.
Bro, listen, do you know how many pounds of food I've eaten at a Marlins stadium, whether it be the old one that had 35 names or the one that they play at now that I haven't been to?
Pro Player Stadium.
This one now or the old one's Pro Player Stadium?
The old one was, because that's what it was in every single video game, because no one had the rights to the actual stadium name.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So it was always Pro Player Stadium.
Hold on. I'm getting a serious case of deja vu. We've had this conversation at least minimum 5 times. We've talked about Marlins Stadium more times than I think we have to.
Stop that right now. Okay.
Hold on. No. Because I know where this is going to go. So we're going to get sucked into a conversation about the Marlins. We're going to hear the story about your friend, how he had to drink the gallon of milk because the dude dared him to. We're going to pull up the article again.
You know what the crazy part is? His dad was the head of concession, so I got free food all the time I showed up.
Oh, that's why we've heard that 4 times.
Oh, I told you guys. Oh, dude, holy smokes.
Yeah, I heard this one, buddy. So
dude, that's where I tell you, you can't argue with that team. When you sit there and say, why is it a group effort?
So
I'm there with them.
why is it
sure,
that your
sure
team
thing, bud.
is currently a winter ball team?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you have any rights to an MLB stadium? Do you have any rights to? Do you have a contract with the MLB? Are you an MLB licensed team? Are
Are
you?
the Marlins?
Are you?
Are the
Last time I
Marlins
checked,
at this point?
we on MLB the show. Are you? So before you sit there and say anything, you know, Johnny Hotshot, okay? You don't disrespect what has been there, okay?
Hey, listen, I have all the respect in the world.
How many World
For
Series do you
winter-
guys have? How many World Series do you guys have in the past 30 years?
Me and Jay, 0.
No, Phillies. Even your
Oh,
squad.
one.
Okay, we got 2 to your 1.
Yeah.
Simmer down over there. Simmer down. Okay. What did the Rock
It's all
say?
right.
Know your role and shut your mouth. 2 to your 1. 2 to your 1.
I got some pretty interesting news to throw you guys
happened?
off your current conversation.
Okay.
Now scrolling through Instagram, not sure exactly when it happened, but the Colorado Rockies have finally made a move. They've been sitting a little dead in the water, but the Colorado Rockies have signed Keston. I'm gonna this last name up. Keston, who her
Keston Hira.
is that it? Keston here.
Keston Hira
Minor league
is
contract.
quite possibly one of me and Damon's favorite quad A players.
Which is an absolute insane player.
I'm going to let Damon take it over after me, but I'll tell you right now, this gentleman, Keston Hira, he had more than a cup of tea with the Brewers. He had a fair shot up in the majors. Not a bad player whatsoever. Just did not do what was anticipated whatsoever. Damon, hit us with Keston Hira's stats, because you and I we've talked about this before.
Before we say that, let's give a shout out to the Santa Barbara Foresters. It was a summer ball team that he played with before getting picked up. Quick shout out to them guys up there. Anywho,
SB.
your boy had 1,733 at-bats in the minor leagues with a 304 batting average, slugging 99 home runs with 309 RBIs. Listen, that's all good for a 935 OPS. Don't look at his MLB stats.
Not great. So last year, Keston, in 37 games in the PCL, Pacific Coast League, 37 games, 20 homers in 37 games, a 1.220 OPS, insane, and a 190 WRC plus, weighted runs created plus. Stats like that, I don't understand. I don't care. But at the same time, that's impressive. This gentleman is way above his pay grade in AAA, but does not deserve major league minimum with what he's done stat-wise in the majors. Keston Hira, you're a hero. You had 20 home runs in 37 games. Are you kidding me? The league leader was Luke Voigt in the 2020 shortened season of 60 games. Granted, that was against major league pitching. It was Luke Voigt and Jose Abreu. I think they were tied or one apart.
So you said he did all that last year?
Yeah, in the PCL.
You want to know what his MLB stats look like? He had 27 at bats, 4 hits, 148 average with an RBI.
A 148 average? Yo. He was better than Martin Maldonado. And Martin Maldonado had a much longer leash than him in the majors.
It do be facts.
Is he that good of a catcher?
He's a glove first catcher. Basically the same exact reason the Phillies keep Garrett Stubbs.
Okay. Kind of like Austin Hedges.
Yes. 100% Austin Hedges. Very good with the pitching staff. Very good glove. Still defensive prowess. Like, if you had enough innings and qualified at bats and all that stuff, you'd be ranked top defensive catchers. Like that type of stuff. But real quick, let me divert from this quad A player conversation because this is always fun. I love talking about this. So, like I said during the intro, Martin Maldonado signed with the Padres in a minor league deal. Another minor league deal because that's the season. 'Tis the season. In winter ball for the Leones del Escogido in the Dominican Winter League, a 10-game season. About a
That's
114.
definitely how it's pronounced.
Leones, Leones, del Scogido, Escogido. Maybe. I don't know. I probably would. But he batted 114 for them. And then in the other winter league that he played in, the Indios de Mayagüez in Puerto Rico, Liga de Baseball Professional Roberto Clemente. God, I feel like I'm ordering tortillas and guacamole at a Mexican restaurant.
Dude, it is the thick Caucasian accent right now that is just. You're like, can I get the Casa de Guerrero?
You want that little fun fact about that Roberto Clemente league? The last player ever drafted by the Montreal Expos, Daryl Thompson, plays for them. Plays in that league. Yeah, so whenever they say Tom Brady's the last, currently, yes, whenever they say Tom Brady's the final guy to be drafted, because remember they say Tom Brady professional sports. That is professional. He's getting paid.
You're
for
correct.
It. Yeah. Daryl Thompson.
Well, I think they mean like North American professional. Well, Puerto Rico is North America.
Yeah, it is.
So.
And even if you go to Mexico, it's still considered professional baseball for the guys out here.
Well, no love to our brown brothers. Sorry, guys. Well, he batted 135 for them. So, dude, why did his glove's not that great? But anyway, Martin, good for you, buddy. Good for you for trying to keep on keeping on. But yes, let's revert back to the quad A players. I have a favorite. Jab, I would love to hear your favorite because I know you have one.
So I spent the last couple minutes debating which one I wanted to go with because I had a couple. We had a guy that was the Babe Ruth of the minor leagues. We had a guy that beat the record that was held by the Babe Ruth of the minor leagues, and Mike Hessman, shout out. I could have gone with my personal favorite, Scott Kingery, who's now on the Angels, but loved him with the Phillies. Pretty sure I had his first and only jersey. I don't know where that went. Probably went to Lehigh Valley with him. But I have to go with one of my favorite players who, after I graduated high school, if you would have told me that this dude was going to be the greatest person ever don a Phillies uniform, I would 100% have agreed with you. I'm going with my boy in Dominic Brown. Let me tell you
the 1 month wonder.
Oh, number 9, Dom Brown. He had a amazing first half in 2013?
It wasn't the first half, dude.
No, probably 2015.
It was an amazing June. It was an amazing June.
Anyway.
That June garnered him an all-star appearance.
His MLB career stats, they're not bad. He had 54 home runs, 229 RBIs. He hit 246. OPS is 710. Not horrible. But in the minor leagues, let me tell you about this man. 996 hits, 115 home runs, 516 RBIs, 121 stolen bases, and he hit 283. Now, like I said, this is personal preference. But I thought Dominic Brown was going to be the next great Philly for however god darn long, and was going to lead us to multiple World Series titles at the end of the Howard, Utley, Rollins, Hamels, and that all fun couple years we had there.
Yeah, he was supposed to take over right field for Worth.
But yeah, Dominic Brown, favorite quad A player. The dude just. And I love the fact that Dominic Brown's kind of taken like the whole thing in stride. Like he's like, you know what, dude? I had a great career. I had a lot of fun. I got to play with a lot of teams. Like I have no regrets about it. It's like, you know what, dude? I got no bad blood with him. Love you always, Tommy.
Hey, you did your thing, man. That's all I gotta say. So, mine is not a recognizable name to a lot of people. It should be to our generation, to say the least. This is a guy who definitely had a long shot at doing what he was capable of in the majors and did not perform. But it's not necessarily a long shot. He just played many seasons. He would never made it to be a starter for full seasons at a time. Should have had the capability, but didn't. Good old absolute fat boy Slim Jim from the gas station, the one that's sitting next to the register that costs $4 compared to your 50-cent Slim Jim, Travis Snyder. Travis Snyder was an absolute Brock Lesnar looking beast in the majors who just, you looked at him and went, that dude can hit. I haven't seen him swing yet, but that dude could probably hit a ball from here to Toledo. I don't care where we are, but it might land in Toledo. Well, in the majors, 54 major league home runs, a 244 batting average, 212 RBIs, and 167 walks, and 1,700 at-bats. That's a bust. For a dude who was built like Thomas the Tank Engine. And legit, like his neck was wider than a space heater. Like, the dude was huge. But in the minors, 115 homers and 3,500 at-bats. Home runs don't mean everything. 294 batting average, 528 RBIs, 416 walks. The dude just knew what he was doing in the minors. Travis Snyder, what happened, kid? His WAR never exceeded one. Never exceeded one per season. But he did have one season where it was one flat, where he played in 69 games. Nice. For the 2015 Orioles. But then he got traded to Pittsburgh and had a 0.1, a negative 0.1. So therefore, he had a 0.99 WAR for that season. Never had a good year. Travis Snyder was an absolute beast of a man. It looked like Matt Stairs, but healthy.
That's very funny.
And he had a violent swing, just like Matt Stairs. You put everything into it. It looked like you should have back spasms just from one swing. It's a shame. There's always a guy like that throughout everyone's growing up and everything like that in sports, especially on like your team or just in the league, that you thought was going to be an absolute phenom for years. And Mark, Didn't work.
Sometimes it just doesn't pan out, unfortunately. I mean,
Dude, you know who I thought was going to be an amazing player for the Phillies when I was growing up? Nick Punto.
Oh, shout out him with the Twins.
Dude. Nick
Love to see
Punto
that.
had a great career outside of Philly. But, I mean, great career. Everyone's opinion on great career is different. Obviously, you know the people who had a great career, and you look at them and say, that was a great career. No one can refute that. Nick Punto played a while. You play a while, and you play at a good level, that's a great career.
serviceable.
That's a great career.
I mean, if
It's
we're
a shame.
talking Phillies that I thought were going to be great, I mean, I can go very recently because when he was drafted, I was like, we have been saved, finally. And
Cornelius Randolph.
no, that was one of those draft picks where I kind of had to talk myself into being positive about it.
You and I watched that draft together.
Yeah, and
I
I
mean, like,
remember
What?
they drafted him, and I was like, all right, like, I guess. And
Top 5 high
that-
school hitter.
then when like you really found out the details, you're like, okay, like he's solid, he's good. And then he just kind of never put it all together. But no,
there's one
not
guy that you guys keep
not
talking
Cornelius.
about, you guys haven't brought up. What happened to John Mayberry Jr.?
boy.
No.
Let me tell you who I got obsessed with that I should not have. Number one, John Mayberry Jr. I saw that man hit a walk-off home run, and I was like, there he is. There's my new favorite player on a team that lost like 106 games.
It's like you guys are talking about Quad A Kings, my favorite. I'm looking at him right now. It was a couple years. Jeremy Giambi. 3 years of when I mean absolutely I'm crushing it out there. Brother. 1997, he played in 2 leagues. In 105 games, he hit 326, 16 homers, 73 RBIs, 67 walks. Okay. 1998, 372, 20 homers, 66 homers, 57 walks. Again, 1999, 346 average, 12 homers, 28 RBIs, only played in 33 games. His OPS in 97 was 960, and 98 was 1103, and 99 was 1157. Oh, and then in 2000, he came back with a 355 average. How many games was that in? Because he had 11. In 8 games, he had a 1100 OPS. So
Hey, a lot of people forget Jeremy Giambi was a Philly.
Hard to forget.
A lot of people forget Jeremy Giambi in general. And my man, rest in peace. One of the greatest. When I saw him on the video games,
Did he pass?
he passed away in 2022.
Yeah. Let's say he passed away not that long ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
anyway.
Whenever I saw him in the video games.
Come
on now.
he it was infamous in Moneyball that he got traded away from the A's to the Phillies, and I remember when he got traded from the A's to the Phillies, his first game as a Philly, he banked a beautiful home run. I think it was at home at the vet. Banked a beautiful home run to right field. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is who we needed. And then, like, 3 days later, DFA'd. Now I understand why. Because in a lot of ways, unfortunately, Jeremy Giambi was kind of a cancer to a lot of teams. Because all he wanted to do was party and, young money type things. Moolah, baby. Yeah, where he would be at clubs and doing all that stuff and throwing racks.
So I'm going
Yeah.
to read you a minor league stat line, and I want to see if you can guess the player. Now, we're going to the Pacific Coast League. That's your first hint.
So wait,
He
hang on,
hit-
real quick. The PCL numbers are always inflated because they play in the highest elevation.
I mean, I think these are straight on facts because when you hear who it is, you'll be like, okay, I mean, that makes a little bit of sense.
Russell Brandon.
No, not even close. He hit 340, 28 homers, 13 triples, and 45 doubles in 187 games. And if you guys want a hint, let me know.
So 187 games. So we played what, a season and a half?
I'm not sure if 187 was considered a full season at this time.
Can't be because it's more than what we play in the majors.
Was he good in the big leagues?
Yes.
What years we talking?
Yeah, what era? Like, you got to give us a timeline. Otherwise, we're going from.
So
Forever
we're
till now.
going. So he was in the Pacific Coast League in. Let me see if I can find you a season. 1932.
Dude,
So in the 30s, you're looking at.
I don't know. It's damn usual.
Ted Williams,
I'll give you a hint. He had a 61 game hit streak in this
Joe
league.
DiMaggio.
There you go. Jolton Joe.
Well,
One of the best minor league
you
stat
have
lines.
to go. You didn't have to go black and white.
Yeah,
My
right
man,
when you
listen.
said 1932, I was like, oh, dude, I'm out of the race. I was going to guess Albert Pujols or something like that just to throw a name in that. You know what I mean? I don't even know if he played with the
That,
PCO.
At this point, I feel like my Russell Brandon was closer from the beginning.
Yeah,
I mean,
did.
I'm kind of shocked you guys didn't know.
I didn't know the
Like,
PCO was
Joe
around then.
Yeah,
You didn't
it
know
was
the Pacific
around then.
Coast
Shouts
League
out to
was-
Ebbett Field Vintage. You know?
Shout out to the fucking Seals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah,
I just was not expecting 1932. You know, I was
No,
expecting
that
more.
threw me off so hard, dude.
Well, I'm not going to give you a goddamn easy one, but the stat line I figure would have given it to you.
Yeah, you could have did something within our,
Sorry
you
for
could have done
swearing.
something within our lifetime.
Like, I'm so sorry for swearing, but that's where I'm like, what the
I
heck?
mean,
no.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just me. I mean, I was like, oh, I know exactly who this is, and I read it to you guys.
believe in the afterlife. You believe in your reincarnation. You've had 7 past lives throughout baseball. We get it. I watched this back when it happened.
I mean, I'm just that lucky, I guess.
You are, dude. Listen, we're not knocking you because that was a good trivia question.
That was a really good one. It just threw me off. 1932.
You could have said like some hit of like era.
Yeah, like I was literally.
What's the
thinking,
fun in that?
1980s at the latest.
Because we were just talking about Jeremy Giambi.
Yeah, thank you. Like,
Yeah, you guys were talking about Jeremy Giambi.
I mean,
Yeah.
holy smokes.
Don't play this you guys thing. That's not funny. That's not cool. You're part of this conversation too.
I mean, I was reading stats for someone else, bro.
I was like, dude.
All
right. All right, well, I'll give you another trivia question, and I'll try to give you the decade at least.
Try to.
What 300 game winner accumulated the same number of hits at the plate as he did wins on the mound?
Greg Manis.
John Schmaltz.
John Smoltz win
So-
300.
So you have the team, but you don't have the player. I can give you the years he was active.
I'm glad.
Or first he was active from 42 to 65. This is a well-known name too.
Warren
And I
Spahn.
can tell. There you go. I was going to say he gave up Willie Mays' first home run.
So he was a Boston Brave.
Yeah. He was a Brave.
Milwaukee Brave, right?
I'm not sure when they switched from Boston to Milwaukee. feel like it had to be sometime close to. Yeah, he might have strictly been a Milwaukee Brave. I'll have to double check that.
And that makes most sense because I don't think Warren Spahn played in the South.
So he was in Boston for the team's last 5 years. Yeah, and then they went to Milwaukee where he obviously went on.
Shot in the dark that you might know this, either one of you. Where did the Boston Braves play in Boston? They didn't split at Fenway, correct?
Let me actually look that up for you.
So they did not play at Fenway. I believe
It's just
they
Braves
had-
Field.
Like, Boston then was still a tight town. He didn't have room for anything.
Yeah, today the site is home to Nickerson Field on the campus of Boston College. Stadium was home for the Boston Braves from 1915 to 1952.
So I wonder if that's Boston College's football field now.
Boston University.
Oh, Boston University. Okay, not the Eagles.
I'm trying to see where their mascot is.
I don't know what Boston University's team is. I know BCU, but I don't know Boston University. Because, Jay, if you remember when we were at Fenway and we were on the Monster, we could see BCU's football field. If you look out-
vaguely.
If you look out back to the, like, if you're on the Monster looking at home plate and you look to the right out of the stadium, and then kind of like your 5 o'clock, where the highway is, where we pulled in, that's where BCU's field was. If I remember correctly, we were pretty drunk. I don't know, maybe.
I was gonna say I'll have to take your word for it because I mean that Boston trip kind of became a blur pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Obviously, baseball, as Damon said it right now, is just the most boring thing. There's nothing happening. I mean,
au contraire. There is one thing happening, and I was waiting until you were caught off guard for this. There is a new sheriff in town for all of baseball.
what, did Chris Paddock retire?
No, there is maybe he did. I don't know. Chris Paddock, is he still around?
Probably.
So, last I remember, he was on the Padres 7 years ago. So, yeah. There is a new sheriff in town, and this gentleman is really trying oh so hard to be topical, to be hip, to be not cringy, and most importantly, he's really trying to influence. Bryce Harper has become an influencer on TikTok.
God, dude, no. There's no way we're doing this. Come on.
Personally can't stand it.
It's so bad. Listen, dude, I love Bryce Harper and his pandering for Philadelphia. I love it. But, brother, I don't give a shit about you making coffee or banana bread. Come on.
Or looking deep out of your skull. Like, you look like you're more stoned than a gravel road while talking about banana bread. You're discussing your travel bag. It's basically a get ready with me on a private plane. How does that do anything for me, dude?
Brother, me and you are not the same.
Not even
My
a
travel
little bit.
bag gets a stick of deodorant, the toothbrush, the toothpaste, and
My travel bag is a Coors Light Under Armour backpack that I got for free from a beer sponsor. Pretty awesome. So,
no paid advertisements.
no, it's Coors Light. Ugh. Silver bullet. And then his newest one today is diving off a coconut tree whilst on vacation in a tropical environment. into the most crystal blue lagoon that I've ever seen. Bryce, listen, you are the effing man. On that field, you are so cool. You are just the epitome of what a baseball player should be. On the internet, dude, what are you doing? Like, I am not shunning you for having fun, trying to do something new. It's not that I don't want to look into players' lives and stuff like that. Like, I don't think NFL players even do it. And
No, I
NFL
can't
players
think
are the
of
most
any.
followed players. Well, I don't know. Is it NFL players or NBA players are the most followed players in sports?
I'd say NBA, but I'm just looking at it as, him just doing it as another stream of revenue just for the hell of it. That's where I
Yeah.
say, I mean,
So I guess they're getting like 10,000 likes. That's it. Like, it's not a lot.
Brad, but it's still something. So that's where I'm like, I don't even care to talk about it because it's like, I mean, dude's living his life. If you choose to be a TikToker on the final days of TikTok going out, because like,
Listen, hey,
because hear me out. No. Hear me out though, because it may not resonate with you. That whole Bottega Veneta bag and everything, the whole private jets and everything like that.
I've never even heard of that brand.
But it resonates with me. I get both of those, and I mean the people that he's going and influencing. Go look at the, if we're talking about demographics of people that are liking it. It's people that like Bryce Harper. It's people that come from that similar background to where they're like, oh, I like what he's doing. I like what he has.
Mormons?
And it may not be Mormons. I mean, I don't think everybody in Boca Raton is Mormon. So that's what I tell you, man. But that's where I tell you that, I look at it as, a guy doing something else, but I'm not going to have a conversation about another man doing his TikTok when he's also a big leaguer. Like, that's just,
listen, the only thing that I'm trying to allude to and, kind of bridge to is this what we meant all the countless times we spoke about the MLB branching out into social media and more personality and more individuality for players and more.
I mean, we have to look at when we're talking about personality and individuality. I mean, again, we're speaking on. Did you know that, and I could be wrong on this, but I know for certain guys that have retired and have jobs within the MLB or on teams can't do certain podcasts, can't do certain things. They can't be, around stuff like that. So they may have never been able to have a TikTok where they could post stuff and go off and do stuff like that and actually detail their life. So again, I there's so many things that are underlying that are behind the scenes that, I mean, we can have a, spitball 15-minute conversation about it, but I mean, the reality of it is there's more to it. I think when we talk about the personality and individuality, I think that comes from the pimping home runs and them trying to get the clicks and likes on social media on the MLB or the team's pages, whatever it may be, whether it be going viral on TikTok, going viral on whatever. I think the players are allowed to have their freedom now to do whatever they want because, again, you typically see it being a player's wife. So I when we talk about the social media aspect of it, if you want to hear my honest opinion, the social media aspect is what they're talking about. What teams are looking for is guys to hit home runs because guys hit home runs. I hate to be this guy. Everybody talks about they like baseball, but they're trying to change baseball because everybody that watches podcasts, whatever it may be, your focus isn't, your grandpa's focus where you could sit down for 4 hours and enjoy the game. Your focus off stats, off the data that's been done, whatever it may be, whatever data they've driven, shows that, an hour 30 to 2 hours is the most that somebody wants to spend at a baseball game. So to be efficient, to make the most money, to make the most profit, to do whatever it may be, they have to shorten the game to suit whoever it may be, which is the fan, because the fan can't sit there and, well, I want to gripe about the pitch clock. The pitch clock came because they're trying to shorten the games for you guys. Because again, did they talk about the pitch clock in 1960s? No, in the 1960s, they introduced the 5-man rotation. So again, I feel that the individuality and all that extra stuff that they're trying to say and trying to do is the evolution of baseball, where the analytics come in and we're worried about the upward swing, because the upward swing, guys, as we're trying to preach it to be something great for you, all it produces is strikeouts, fly out, homer. Okay. but that's what they want because guess what? When Aaron Judge hit 60 home runs, think about how many clicks, how many likes, how many views, how much money that put in all those people's pockets. So again,
Yeah.
are they going to try and sit there and have a guy like Luis Arias go out there and do that? So that's what I'm saying. We want to have the conversation about individuality and personality and everything. I'm not going to talk about a dude having his TikTok. Let him enjoy himself in that corner. I'm going to bring up how these teams, I mean, shoot, we could bring up, and I know I've said this before, how teams hire these guys that had a sip of tea in the big leagues so they can tell them, hey, we need you to coach this to the guys. Because again, look at the guys that made even 50 plus million. Do you think they're really needing that 300,000 that the team's going to pay him to be a hitting coach, a bench coach, or whatever it may be? No, with correct investments, most likely not. So that's where I'm like, they're taking guys that had 1-2 years. If they played 10 years, it's 80 games across 10 years. And yeah, that dude may have made $4 or $5 million, but that 300,000 is going to be more than what he'll make anywhere else in life if he didn't apply himself in any other application that is useful towards whatever opportunities came from him being a big leaguer. I mean, people throw themselves at these big leaguers, even if you a no-name dude. There's CEOs around you. Open yourself to the opportunities. But that's where I tell you, it's just the MLB trying to make more money.
You're right. You're right. I mean, that's why some of these guys, even if they played 10 games in the majors, can charge $2,000 a session for hitting tips and stuff like that for your kid. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's name alone. I get it.
That's where I'm like,
This is one of the reasons we have you here, to shed the other light, besides the comedic and the stupid light.
that's where I'm like, I don't know. If we're talking about baseball really being boring, it's because baseball is becoming unauthentic to what it really was. I mean, the fact that we even had the negotiations or conversations of a golden at bat rule, asinine. And I don't even know if that's the correct word for that, but I used it because it sounded good. So
No, asinine's the proper word. You are
Thank
absolutely
you.
100% correct.
thank you. But like, that's where I'm like,
Perfect.
dude, really? We're trying. That's how we
Hey.
evolve the game.
Can I just say I kind of miss Bud Selig?
At this very moment, I do too. I do too.
At
Jay,
least
how you feel?
at least he tried to keep this and not make it this.
I miss everything being in house. I miss everything being, you couldn't hear about any of the leaks, any of the stuff like that. And I understand that's just the evolution of social media, but that's also people sitting here not knowing how to keep their mouth shut. So, I mean,
That's a good point.
why do I know that Rocky's, whatever Rocky's situation is, the people owed Rogers a favor? Why do I need to know that? Why do I know that? Because somebody told me. Because it's they deem it useful information to progress the conversation forward. It's like, I have a question. You guys ever gone to the bar and somebody told you that their distant cousin is somebody famous?
Dude, I don't think you understand what Delco is.
I don't know what that. No, I don't.
So, did you ever see the Disney movie Invincible with Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, Vince Papale. So he's coming to my girlfriend's school tomorrow. He's a former Philadelphia Eagle who made the team on a tryout. He is a local hero.
Yep, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yes, Mark Wahlberg played him. Yes, he had that weird bucket type hair, that bob haircut. And yeah, dude, the 70s was wild. Yes, Vince Papale's coming to my girlfriend's school tomorrow to hype up the kids for playoff game on Sunday. And on top of that, give them a little introduction and probably get some Disney Plus residual bucks. And hopefully all of them go home like, Mom, I want to watch Invincible. And they're like, no, what's that on HBO? I'm like, no, it's Disney Plus. And they're like, oh. And then they find out it's also Hulu on Disney Plus, and they end up watching something they really shouldn't. But yeah, that's cool. But eventually they watch Invincible, and then
I completely forgot about that.
It's a good sports movie. That's all it is. It's a good, feel-good sports movie. Nothing special. But this goes back to one of those situations where it's like, let's throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. They should not have made a movie about a guy who tried out and made a team, who was a local guy, How many times has that happened in history?
Did he play?
Yeah, he played for the Eagles a couple years.
Was
Solid
he-
career.
Okay, so it wasn't
Solid
like he
career.
just
White wide receiver in the 70s.
pros having fun.
Yeah. But he was also like a high school teacher.
Shout out Rich
17 minutes-
Franklin.
17 minutes away from the stadium. So, like, that's why it's like a feel-good story, because he was down the highway, down 95, and then right there, pulled up to the vet. That's fun.
I'm gonna say I feel that up. I don't know. I feel like it'd be Kurt Warner is a better feel good story, and they've never made a movie about him.
Dude, he was working in a supermarket.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, so was Wes Welker, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't know about Wes Welker. I know about Kurt Warner because I've been told.
Okay.
My bad, big dog. I'm just letting you know. Okay.
Hey, I love you, buddy. I'm sorry.
No, but real quick on a little side note, I know Jay's asked if we could talk other sports. You guys excited for UFC? What is it? 311 on Saturday?
Who's fighting?
No, I don't watch.
Yep. So now, are you gonna watch, Jay?
No, I don't watch UFC. Not
You
anymore.
guys don't watch you? Oh my gosh.
I have nothing against UFC. I just haven't cared in a while.
Last
I'm-
time I watched UFC was Josh Koscheck versus I think GSP.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Like so, we're
That's like-
going back.
12
Yeah,
years ago? 13?
Longer than that. I mean, that was pre 2010.
Oof. So 16 years at the minimum.
I was a big Josh Koscheck fan.
Oh, you really? You see, I was a big Josh Koscheck fan after the Paul Daly fight. Definitely. I mean, never really got to see anything of Paul Daly after that. But yeah, I understand that, dude, because I stopped watching the UFC in like 2014, and I've been trying to get back into it, but there's way too many people. Like, way too many people.
Yeah,
Too
like,
many guys.
It was a lot easier to follow when pretty much as you said it, when there weren't so many guys, but now I find it so hard to keep up with shit. I'm like,
Dude, there's so many names.
Like-
I'm like, who?
like just trying to get back into it. Like I watched maybe 10 minutes of like I don't even know which one I watched, but it was just like, oh well, he's fighting him after this, but then he's got this fight and all these, and I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like what the hell ever happened to Forrest Griffin? Like, where's Stephen Bonner at? Like why? Who are these goddamn people?
Dude, I'll give you my
Like,
favorite. I'll give you my favorite UFC fighter of all time. Clay Carpenter Guida.
Wow.
I remember
That is a
Carpenter.
good one.
Dude,
Wow.
that dude was a menace.
Bro, you're just getting in there getting dirty. Bro left every
All
fight
the time.
battered and bloodied.
Dude, he always left a fight drenched in blood. Because that dude could hang. You could
Yeah, like I
beat
was
him with a bat, and he'd be like, let's go. I'm ready.
like I was big on Koscheck, BJ Penn.
Solid.
I used to love BJ. I thought if you would have asked younger me who's one of the best athletes in the octagon, I was either giving you BJ Penn or Josh Koscheck. Like that was just
Hard to
who I
argue.
was. And then if you asked me
They both
who
have
the
times
best
where they were
heavyweight
debated as
was,
number one.
I would have given you Forrest Griffin because I thought Forrest Griffin was an absolute animal himself.
Forrest Griffin was 1-1 against Lesnar, right?
I
Did
have
they
no
have
idea.
Frank Mir.
Yeah,
Frank
Frank-
Mir. That's what it was.
I was gonna say Frank Mir knocked out Lesnar, and I think Lesnar
Look, Frank Mir
Knocked.
leg bar.
or
We got Lesnar with the leg bar, and that's when
Yeah,
Mario Yamasaki. It took because Lesnar's tapping, and then you could see him just start like really smacking on. He's like,
Are you not listening? Do you
Yeah.
see this?
so I mean, but dude,
Hello?
one of my favorite guys from back then. I don't know why. I honestly cannot tell you what. Kendall Grove. I do not know why.
Oh.
Yeah, he was the 6'6" dude that was a middleweight for no reason.
Which is obscene. That's just obscene because I don't think anybody he's fighting is above 6'3", one.
The biggest he would have fought was what? Did Sakuraba ever fight in the UFC?
I don't remember that name.
Kazushi Sakuraba. He was known as a Gracie killer.
You know,
Yeah,
one guy who
well,
I thought was the next big thing?
Hmm.
Sage Northcutt. Very
I
few
don't
guys.
even know what happened there.
Very few guys could look like him and not fight. You made it to the UFC, which means that Dana White saw something in you.
I mean, that's usually how it goes. Well, I mean, back in the day, you actually had to be like tough to get into UFC. Like you had to be willing to fucking throw down. Now I really don't even know what the hell it takes. Like, do you just have to be someone that can just walk onto the stage and just draw a crowd? Like, because I know Conor McGregor had all of Ireland behind him at some point.
He had a lot of Eastern Europe or Western Europe.
Yeah, but he's also the absolute biggest fighter to come from there that had the personality. Because you could sit there and say, if we're talking biggest fighter ever,
Patty's trying.
no, that don't even count. I'm not even going to entertain that. So as we were
He's
saying,
not gonna be.
with the level of skill and talent, let's talk about Fedor. But when did Fedor actually go out there and make him? Oh, you mother effers! He never said that. Dude was just chilling the entire time. Bro, go in there, fight, go home, sign the contract, come back, fight, go home. With Conor McGregor, he was definitely the epitome of all the people that didn't have a voice before. Now they're speaking up because, again, the way that I look at it is the way that I look at how Drake talks about him in Toronto. Nobody wanted to be from Toronto until he was from there because name another big guy from Toronto before Drake.
Joe Carter.
Was he born and raised in Toronto? From Toronto?
I don't know.
No, he played
He
for the
beat the
Toronto
Phillies in
Blue
the
Jays.
1993 World Series.
He played for the Blue Jays. I mean, that's a cool story, but yeah, that's where I tell you, nobody was wanting to be,
Yeah, dude, I don't know anybody from Toronto.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. If you go say, well, name a West Coast legend, you have a whole Rolodex of people. You name it, or go name a dude from Los Angeles. Go name somebody from Miami. Go name somebody from New York. You could pull up a class of people that people try to like model themselves after. Some form of inspiration, whether it be good or bad, whatever it may be. There was none of that in Toronto. So, I mean, I feel like nobody wanted to be Irish, embrace it. I'm not saying nobody wanted to be, but nobody was out there just like, yeah, I'm the big Irish fighter, guys. Look at me. Like, nah, you had people out there just like, okay. And I feel Conor made that the big thing. Everybody that had do you guys remember the South Park thing when they're finding out if they're like 1% black and stuff like that? I'm not going to go into it, but the long and short of it is, I'll send it to the group chat. The long and short of it is, I feel like when people were like finding out that they were 1% Irish, they were trying to like truly claim that got an Irish flag in the wall. Like, bro, you didn't know I'm part Irish?
Sure. No, I get it. It's like Notre Dame versus Penn State. In this area where we're from, you're fans of both, except they just played each other. So I don't know. So little backstory: where Jay and I are from is Delaware County, PA. Obviously, we're considered the 33rd county of Ireland. There's more Irish people within our county than there is in Boston.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude. Like, legit. Jay and I both have Irish in us.
How big was Conor McGregor out there?
I don't care. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. At that point, I wasn't going to the bars, especially when UFC was playing. Because I'm not paying a cover charge to go have 4 beers and go home. Because every bar you had to pay a cover charge, especially if it was a UFC night, which is ridiculous.
What's a cover charge?
Like, when you walk into a bar, you have to pay $15 to walk in. And then you have to pay for all your drinks when you get in there. Because here in Pennsylvania, pay-per-views are very difficult for bars to pull off without getting extra revenue. Because It's per TV. So if you're a sports bar and you have 20 TVs, that's pay-per-view for each TV, or pay-per-view for half your TVs, and shit like that. So you have to make your revenue back in some way, shape, or form besides just drinks for that night. Because what happens if 35 people show up for the pay-per-view and you bought it, but 30 people end up staying? So that's 5 extra people who aren't there spending while the pay-per-view is going on. So it's just bar 101 out here. You have to spend extra money in order to get people in the door, and you have to make that money back. That's the liquor control board being a bunch of buttheads. Yeah. It stinks.
I didn't even know if that was a real thing. That's that sucks.
Yeah. Just did you some learning. There ain't poop to talk about.
Yeah, can baseball be fun again? Can we have something to talk about? Something like just at least a topic, like one thing. Like there's not
3 weeks away from spring training?
70 days.
No, that's
from
from
the season. 70 from the season. And then I think for spring training we're maybe
3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks out.
Yeah. About between 20 and 25 days for all teams. Because apparently I didn't know this until I can't remember if I learned it this year or last year. Not every team starts spring training the same day.
No. It's like 4 days. It's from I think
kind of wild.
February 9th through the 12th. Like one team shows up on the 9th, two teams show up on the 10th, and I think 20-something teams show up on the 11th, and then 3 on the 12th.
Is it because Florida and Arizona's airports can't handle it? I don't get it.
Oh. Almost reminds me of the school year when you would have snow days, but you would have to make them up at the end of the year. So it could just be the owners I have a family trip from here to here, so we'll start here.
I'm in an island. I have to be on that island on this date. I'm sorry.
I mean, the good news is when we fire up another pod, we'll probably be a week out from spring training, which is nice.
We'd have to get some type of word on Pete Alonso and Bregman situation.
Dude,
and
if we're back here in 2 weeks and we do not have an answer on one of those 3, I might actually be pissed off.
Is Pete's agent Boris as well?
Maybe.
Honestly, I don't know. Because, at this point, then someone's going to have to call some BS and all that stuff.
It's Scott Boras.
So you're going to have 2 big name players back-to-back years dealing with issues, all due to contract. Come on. All of them are the same agent.
Wait till Ranger Suarez hits free agency next year.
Oh, it's going to be hell.
Part of me actually feels kind of bad for him because I don't want Scott Boras to screw him over, but you got to know what you're getting yourself into when you hire Scott Boras as your agent. So part of me doesn't feel that bad because you're already making millions. But hopefully you know how to protect yourself when you're going through these negotiations. With the way baseball's been, I think easiest thing to do now is just jump into final thoughts and.
Real quick, while we're on that subject of agents, you're allowed to tell us who your dad's agent was, correct? It's not still his current agent, is it?
No, I think my dad had. Let me go look it up for you.
You've met the people, right?
Yeah. Cool guys. I know Delman's was Joel Wolf. Joel's awesome.
He's still an agent, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's
I vaguely remember his name recently.
yeah, I'm like 90% sure he's Yamamoto's agent. It might be. I could be wrong.
That's
So my
a solid
father
payday.
used to have, so his previous agents were Arn Tellem and Eric Goldschmidt, and then it says agents were Tom Wright and Adam Katz.
Cats. That's a big agent.
Yeah, it's from Wasserman Agency, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Um,
Sweet.
yeah, he's still with Wasserman.
I like it. I was just curious.
Yeah, so him and Joel Wolf are basically the co-heads of Wasserman Baseball.
Cool.
That is crazy to think about. Holy smokes, that is wow.
So there's like 3 premier agents in the league. You hope sign you,
Yeah,
or you can sign with. I don't know. See, how does it work? Do you sign with agents, or they sign you?
they'll reach out to you. So you have a bunch of agents, like agencies reaching out to you.
Okay.
Kind of like colleges, and there you just go with whatever's best for you, whoever you like most.
Never did either, college or had an agent. So
Oh. Yeah, so Yoshinobu Yamamoto's agent is Joel Wolf.
Joel had a nice year last year.
Indubitably.
Great.
Who's Roki's agent?
Ironic if it's Rogers Communications.
Joel Wolf. Joel Wolf again. He's having a great 2 years. Just
Well, Rookie can't sign for more than $5 million.
it's still a great 2 years. All the
Sure.
publicity and everything that's coming from it. I mean, that is great for the next contract, especially if he lives up to everything that we're believing that he's going to do. So that's where I'm like, wow,
You're not wrong.
that is, dude. But that's great. That's great work, right?
Rookie's gonna get a big payday if he can last when he becomes a free agent.
Oh,
Because I don't know what. Has anyone seen what kind of deal he's looking for? How many years?
Not really. I would assume he's 25, 26 now. He's probably just looking for like a 4 or 5 just to get him to 30 and then
But
reevaluate from there.
I'm looking at this like Premier League and soccer. I don't know what the transfer policy is. Like, can he take a 1 year $5 million deal and then next year hit free agency again? Or does he need to legally sign for longer?
I'm honestly not sure how it works because
Yeah, I don't know international signing.
Because I know the difference between his situation and Yamamoto's was Yamamoto could just come over and they were like, all right, what's your best offer? And the Dodgers obviously gave him $500 million.
No one had to post for him, correct?
No, he just
Okay,
kind
that's
of
what
was
it
like,
was.
I'm here and that's that.
Yeah, he wasn't still under control in some way, shape, or form.
But I think Sasaki's still technically being under team control for whatever club he was with in Japan. I do think that there is some kind of agreement that has to be agreed to for him to sign a contract.
Okay, fair. So, Jay, you already said it. Let's jump into final thoughts.
For my final thought, I actually just learned this today. And I feel bad because it's actually been 10 days since it happened. Former Orioles pitcher, Brian Mattis, passed away at the age of 37 from apparently an overdose. And I say apparently because I do believe in not speaking ill of the dead, and with me not having all the information, like I said, all I can do is assume. But it's a shame because maybe it's just me, but this is the first time I've heard it, and I was kind of taken aback. I was like, wow, like I remember Brian Mattis, pretty memorable pitcher. Like he had a cool ass last name as far as I was concerned.
I didn't even know Zeno last name's cool.
Like
I don't
it's
know why.
literally like it's spelled AMATUSZ. Like incredible, cool ass name. That being my first final thought, just a quick rest in peace to Brian Mattis. And then for 2, I kind of said it earlier. I hope by the next time we do a pod, we can talk about Pete Alonso, where he goes, Bregman, where he goes, Sasaki finally giving the last flower out to a goddamn team so we can end this Bachelorette season. And I mean, when you look at the list of free agents that are still available, you're like, Jesus Christ, like some of these guys are like Alex Verdugo is still chilling out there. And obviously he's not the most solid player, but like you're going to tell me that no team has a spot for a guy like Alex Verdugo?
Not until you can figure out how to wear gloves without breaking out and dying.
Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy going through the list of free agents, and you still see Max Scherzer out there, which I think he's pretty much.
He's not cooked.
I wouldn't say he's cooked, but I don't see teams giving him exactly what he's looking for.
I mean, dude, Verlander signed the Giants for a load of money.
Like Patrick Corbin coming off a horrible contract, like. So I mean, a lot of names still out there, but
I think Corbin stays out.
But I mean, we'll see what happens, and like I said, the coming weeks, all it takes is one injury when pitchers and catchers report, and contracts start getting handed out again. So,
Patrick, are you
that's
busy?
all it takes.
Give me a second.
But
hold it.
Damon, what's your final thought?
Baseball just needs to stop being boring. I mean, we need to have players that just get the money, bro. Get your money, get paid. Stop trying to overdo it. Yeah, that's about it, dude. This has been a horrific off season. A lot of input from people that, I'd like to see the credibility before you say anything. And a lot of money being spent in places that I'm like, wow, for the price of 1, I can go get 7. Is it really worthy to get that one? And it's a perspective that people have to look at now. Is bigger always better? And I mean, we're going to have to see. And I hope I'm proven wrong. I truly hope I am. I mean, dude, I'm not swinging a bat for a living. So if a dude lives up to that 765, then, let that be the new face of baseball, and let's go crazy with it. Because again, we do need somebody to take over the game of baseball. There's, you have what, Shohei, and that's about it. Because people are going to be, well, you have Mookie Betts and all these people, but yeah, it's where's that one guy that does it? And I'm sorry, I don't know how long Judge is going to be around. Are we looking at another 3 years of progressive stats, and then he starts to get on the decline, or what are we looking at with it? So
gigantism, man, it's going to hurt him.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not, no ill will or anything. It's just proven. Just going off of what you've seen with people that have been his size before, and it's like, yeah, dude, that's I wish to see him do it, but I feel like Juan Soto's got the best chance of everything.
We watched Giancarlo's decline,
and that's probably one of the saddest ones ever. So that's where I'm like, I don't know. Baseball needs to stop being boring, and we need to start figuring out what's going to get the game back in the position that it needs to be, because it's starting to feel real unauthentic.
All right, so I guess it's my turn. And thank you, Damon, for telling us that bigger is not better. Damon just told us he's not a size queen. Fantastic. I got a great one. This is a feel-good story. Rodolfo Castro and Derek Hall opened and closed the season in the same exact way against the same exact team with the same score for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, the Philadelphia Phillies AAA affiliate. Pretty fantastic. In the opening game of the season, March 29th, Castro hits a walk-off grand slam on opening night to defeat the Worcester Red Sox 7-4. Final game of the year, September 22nd. Derek Hall hit a walk-off grand slam on the final game to defeat the Worcester Red Sox 7-4. First and last game, same results, same exact at bat. Two different people. Baseball is a very, very unpredictable, but cyclical sport. You will see the same thing, but never realize that it matters until it does. One reason I love this game.
So, I just saw this when I was scrolling through Instagram, and I found it kind of funny because we're officially like the cooked adults of the generation. They put up a picture of Jackson Holliday and his brother Ethan Holliday, who's supposedly going like top 10 in this next draft when he's available. I mean, obviously we know Jackson Holliday, player with the Orioles, good for him. Ethan Holliday going to get drafted any year soon. But kids are showing up now and they're like, did you know that their dad also played baseball? And I'm like,
I'm done.
I'm like, do people not do people not remember Matt Holliday is one of the best sluggers of the 2000s? Like, he was a stud. His time on the Rockies was incredible. Like, how do we forget about these people? Hanley Ramirez's son just signed with the Rangers. Like, are we officially like the cooked generation?
Stop saying cooked, because that's making us seem too young. No, we're just older. That's all.
We're gonna crash out because it's about that time. It's already been a long episode. As always, you know who it is. I'm Jay. That's Rich. That's Damon. This has been Drunks on the Pond, episode 38. Thank you very much for tuning in. Always remember to like, share, subscribe. Tell us what you want to hear in the comments. We love your feedback. And
give us some suggestions of stuff to talk about. We'd love to hear input, and we'd love to feed off it.
Most importantly, have an amazing day, night, whenever you're tuning in. Z,
and
do me a favor,
drunk.
baby. Hit that music. It's time to get going out of here. Peace.